Oh my gosh. I'm shocked. It's actually, oh my god, I'm so loud. Test. Okay. I'm shocked. It's actually, well, no, it's okay. It is laggy a bit, but it's not truly as bad as I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be like super jittery and basically kind of like not move at all. It's nice that it works. I don't think it would work if I had another application open though. Oh, I should test the, I really haven't used, I don't know, I don't remember how to do this. Wait, no, doesn't do anything. Oh, so 1 is the normal, 2 is angry, 0 and 9 do nothing, 8 does nothing, 1 does nothing, 8, 9, 0, nothing. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, let me see if I can memorize these. Angry, blushing. I don't know what to call this one. Oh, you could. Okay, they undo if I hit it again. I wonder if there's like a way I could do this where it's like, ooh, I could click something on screen instead of hitting my keyboard. Wait, which one was I? Wait, it was crying, blushing, like dark, like evil. No, this one was crying. Wait, 2? What was 2? Oh, angry, blushing, crying, evil. Angry, blushing, crying. Oh no, it's the evil one. Wait, okay. It's angry, blushing, evil, crying. Angry, blushing, evil, crying. And then 6. Okay, sparkles. Let me do the models. Okay, thank you. I'm testing it because I usually use a PNG because my computer's kind of weak, but I figured out a way to open YouTube Studio without having to open Steam. So it's one less application that I have to have open, and I think it's gonna work. I don't know if it's gonna work when I need to play a game, but it works for just chatting. So I can I can use the PNG and the model now, which is sweet. I'm just figuring out what all the stuff do. So I'm trying to memorize like the orders of the buttons and stuff. It's nice though. Usually I just use the PNG. I'm just used to seeing the model or the image light up and then go dark. The model is super cute. I'm happy that I can like figure out a way to use it now. I was very sad that I had to like stick to a PNG because of computer limitations. So I'm glad I can like put it to good use. We all start somewhere. I know, I'm happy. Every time I over the course of like doing this and oh, I turned it dark. Over the course of doing this, I like every time I go live, I learn something new or like I figure out something else. And so, it's just a slow compilation of knowledge and I'm you know, happy that happy that I'm getting there. One day I'll have amassed all the knowledge. So yeah, that's another step for me. Okay, I totally forgot everything I memorized. That's so good, thank you. Okay, I think it was angry, blushing, no, it was No, yeah, it was angry, then blushing, then evil. Okay, okay. And then crying. I don't know what this one does. Oh, that one is the. Oh, oh. Okay, this button resets everything. Okay, that's good to know. That one just resets everything. Okay, okay. This one was the sparkles, and this one was like the dark. Okay. And that one makes it light, and these two don't do anything. But this one resets everything. Okay. Well, that's good to know. Oh, thank you so much for the follow. Okay. I guess I won't do this today, but next time I'll see maybe if it'll work with playing a game. Maybe with some games it'll work. I'm happy that I don't have to have Steam open to run YouTube Studio anymore, but I think I do have to have Steam open to run like game applications. Maybe I can do research on that, but I don't know if I've ever been able to open a game without it opening Steam like in the background. Um, okay. I don't know what to do now because I mostly just want live to test the model. I'm so happy it works though. It's been a long time since I streamed because it's just being busy with school. Oh my gosh, I'm finally free from hell. They give us spring break finally, like a couple weeks before the semester ends. So I feel like I don't know. I feel like I've been going forever and ever and ever. Yay, freedom! Yeah, I know. It's just a week, but a week off is. I've been going for, I think, 10 weeks straight, with no break, like at all. That's the thing I kind of miss about like K through 12, like when like before you get to college, is that they have so many more breaks. Like there's Christmas break, and then there's just like another random week off for absolutely no reason in February, and you get a lot more like holidays off, like days here and there for whatever reason. Once you get to college, they're like, nope, you go to school every day. They don't care about giving you a day off or giving you a break. Hey, a break is important with so school. K through 12 had so many breaks. Yeah. K through 12 had a ton of breaks. I miss it though. I mean, I know school is important, but like, it's hard to when you're in the thick of it. It's hard to be like, I know school is important. You're just like, get me out, get me out. Well, also because like this week, it's like every professor, every instructor was like, oh, you're getting a week off next week. I'm gonna give you an essay and a project and a paper and a research assignment and a test because they just wanted to make us all suffer, I guess. It was this last week was so annoying. Presentations and projects, and I had two tests, like basically back to back to back. Ugh, evil, I tell you. They get the most evil people and they give them degrees and stick them in schools and tell them to teach classes. Yeah, it always seems to pile up when he wants to slow down. Yeah, the longer it goes, the more you just lose momentum. And then I feel like the thing about breaks, like they're kind of a double-edged sword. Like you want them to come really badly because you want to relax, but then once you get it and you get there, and when you have to go back to school, you're like, ah, I had a taste of freedom, and then you locked me back up. It's almost like even more evil. But I'll take the break. I'll take it. You don't take it away, please. So yeah, I have Well, I was gonna say I have a full week to relax, but I really don't have the relaxation. I do still have work to do, and like even before, right the day before we went, the last day I had one of my classes, we had given a presentation, the one that we were preparing this past week. Um, we gave a presentation, and right after we were all done presenting, the instructor, he teased like our next big assignment, and that we were gonna have another project like right after the project we just finished. And then everybody was like, what do you mean, what do we have to do, what is it gonna be for, what is it gonna be on? And he was like, I'm not gonna tell you, go enjoy your break. And so now we have no idea, and we just have to worry about it. But gotta deal with that one when the time comes. So it's like we have a break, but also I know I'm going back, and it's just right back into hell. And there's still finals. I know that I have why it leaves everyone to worry over break. Yeah, everybody was asking so many questions, and he was like, I forgot exactly what he said, but he said something along the lines of, oh, like, I don't want to give you guys too much info because it's not happening right now, or blah blah blah. And it's like, but then we're gonna come back and we know we have this project that's gonna happen, and we're gonna like be dreading it and all that stuff. And then I think we have that project for that class, and then we have a final exam, or I don't know, that might be our final. He might not be that evil. He might be giving us that project as the final, and we have a lot of time to work on it. But I do know that in a different class, I have both a final project and a final assignment, or and a final test. I mean, both a final project and a final test. So that instructor, evil incarnate. They've given so much work. It's not like quantitatively a lot, but it always feels like once you get done with just like a big assignment for that class, then it's another big assignment that you still have like a week to work on, but it's enough that it's like I almost like groan out loud in the middle of class, like, oh, let me go. But oh, and I have a project that I have to work on for that same class over break too. So I don't know. I think this guy is just. I don't. Sometimes some instructors just want you to suffer, and you just have to suffer until you can claw your way out of it. But max, there's like a month of instruction left, and then a week of test, and then freedom. So I'm worried, but also we're in the final stretch, so good things are coming. Yeah, so it's been like 3 weeks since I last went. Hopefully it's not too bad. Yeah, crossing my fingers too. Also just crossing my fingers for no more presentations. I absolutely hate presenting. I don't like presenting. I don't like when everybody's looking at me. I'm totally okay speaking if I can't see all the people looking at me, which it never used to be that way for me. I used to be like totally fine being up in front of people, because I used to like in elementary school, I used to do like performances on stage and stuff, and like in front of a whole auditorium of like hundreds of people. But I don't know, somewhere along the way, when I got older, I started developing like, I guess, anxiety. I guess like when you're a kid, you're so carefree and you just do the things that seem fun to you, but then you get older and you're like, oh, people judge you and they have opinions of you, and they they'll like they'll think you're like bad at things. And so I guess, I don't know, I developed anxiety, and so ever since, public speaking is gross. Lol, I 100% agree. Yeah, it's not fun. I envy people who have an affinity for public speaking, because it truly and honestly could never be me. Um, but yeah, I never used to be so bad at it. But as I got older, you just get more self-conscious, I guess, about what people think about you. And so being in front of people, being perceived, well, take it away. I don't know if I'll ever be able to be that person who could like effortlessly be up on a stage and talking to people and like performing in front of people ever again. So I stay away from presentations as much as I can. If I can push most of the presentation work off on other people, I try to. In the most recent presentation I did this week, like we had, I don't remember how many slides we had to present, but we had a couple, and the only one I presented was the one I absolutely had to, because it was like I'm the one who wrote it. The other ones that were like collaborative and blah blah blah, there were other people who like held the brunt of the work with that, with presenting those, and were like super charismatic and really good at speaking and could communicate and have their voice not be shaking the entire time when they were speaking, and not trying to be hiding behind their other classmates like I was. But like I let them handle the majority of it, and I only said what I absolutely had to. Yeah. So no, no more presentations. There was a presentation I was supposed to give earlier in the year too, but I know that the instructor was keeping track of who presented, and I know that they were like writing down who went or not, but they would like turn around and look at the class and be like, okay, who's next? And I just would never raise my hand, and I would never get up, so I probably got like a really bad grade or a 0 on that presentation, because I never like volunteered to go. And then he was like, last chance, and then I didn't do it. So I feel bad that I didn't do it, but I was like, oh god. Especially, oh my god, the worst presentations are the ones where you have to talk about yourself. Like, I can do I can research something and give a report on it, and I'll hate it the entire time. But I can do it. The worst ones are the ones where you have to give the presentation on who, like, you yourself, and like your background and your history, and the thing, like, yeah, yes, like, yeah, like I can't talk about myself ever at all. It's horrible. It's horrible. It's horrible. So that's what that presentation was on. It was like, what have you done in the past? Who are you? Hobbies, interests, goals. What do you want to do? What do you want to become? And I was like, So I didn't give that presentation, but I did the work. I did the assignment. I just didn't do the part of it that was most important. Yeah, that was, I ran away from that one. What else? No, that's school, I guess. Ask me to tell you about someone and share. But as soon as it's about me, I don't know what to say. Yeah, that's so true. I thought about that a lot. Like, I know some things about myself. Like, I know my favorite color. I know my favorite ice cream flavor. But there's a lot of things I really don't know. Like, you could ask me something about myself, and I'd be like, I've never actually stopped to think about it. Maybe that's like a I don't know if that's just a me thing, but I don't think about myself at all. I don't think about my goals or what I want or who I am a lot. It's so hard to like do things like put together a resume and like, what are your skills? And it's like, I really don't know. I've never thought about it. I wish wish I could ask someone. I wish, like, you're asking me. I wish I could ask you. What do you think my skills are? Uh, because I don't know. Oh my god, I think I'm getting. Okay, no, I don't know if it's picking up, but I can hear it in my ear. But I don't think it's picking up from my microphone. Yeah. So that one was the worst, but the one I had to give this week to, the slide that I wrote, was also on me as well. I don't know why we do. It's for the same class too. I guess it's like a trying to get us kind of like career ready in a way, and to be introspective and to like look into who we are and what we're capable of, so that when people go out and ask us, I don't have that exact same issue where I'm like, I have no idea. um, so that's the slide that I presented, and I mean, I guess I did okay. Definitely shaky, tried to hide behind my classmate, but I got through it, and hopefully didn't get an awful grade, and hopefully didn't hold back the rest of my team. That would make me feel really, really bad. I would so much rather, like, like if I could, I would rather I could do the entire presentation myself, do all the research, put together all the slides, all the creativity, all of it, and have someone else stand up there and say it for me. It's bad. It's bad. Even on like Zoom calls, back when we had school over Zoom, I wouldn't ever like turn on my mic and say anything. Even though a lot of the times like questions would get asked, and what is that crazy number? My CPU percentage just was like negative 50,000. Anyways, I have no idea what that means anyway. I don't understand technology. But I would never turn on my mic and say anything, because even if I knew the answer, because it's like, oh, I don't really want people to hear me speak. I don't really want to say something. I don't know, it's just so much easier to blend away into the background. What else? What else? Back when we had Zoom classes too, like, never, I guess this one's normal though, like, never turning your camera on. Oh gosh, I had one professor that was like crazy about turning your cameras on. Like, he would sit there and wait not the entire class, but he would wait into the beginning of the class and like, waiting for you guys to turn your cameras on. And with my camera off and my mic off, I would shake my head and go, not turning my camera on. It's not gonna happen, buddy. And I never turned it on in that class. It's one thing to ask me to get dressed and leave my house and try to look presentable, which I think I fail at about 60% of the time. It's another to ask me when I'm sitting at home to be presentable, which I am presentable, but I'm also not. It's hard to remember that, I guess, it's hard to want to be presentable when you're in your home. I just want to slouch, gamer posture, like, not look at the screen and like stare at the wall and daydream and all that stuff. Like, I can hear you, but I'm not really paying attention to you. Which I guess is the point. They want to make sure we're actually paying attention. That was probably the worst professor I've ever had. Sorry to that guy. It's one thing when you go out and be seen, but it's another when you're in your own home. Yeah. I don't want to be seen in my home. I don't want to be perceived. I keep my door closed the entire time. Unless I'm leaving my room and going into a different room, my door is closed 24/7. It's never open. I don't like, even when I'm alone. Even if I'm alone, closed doors. Even if, like, I'm alone at home and I know nobody else is coming or is gonna be there, closed doors. I will go into the bathroom and lock the door when I'm home alone for no reason other than just, I don't know, security, but there's nobody there. I don't have to lock the door. I don't want to be perceived ever. um, but yeah, that dude is probably one of the worst professors I've had in my like secondary education career. He didn't really, I couldn't tell you a single thing I learned from that class. I think I have the confidence to walk away with at least one piece of knowledge from every single class that I've taken. Not that one. He didn't. He. Okay, first, in the middle of the semester, he like got up and moved to the other side of the world. I don't know if there was something happening with a friend or a family, or if this was just a pre-planned trip since it was an online class and he's like, I can teach from anywhere. I'm gonna go to the other side of the world. But he got up and we would have class at like 6 o'clock at night, but for him it would be like 7 a.m. in the morning. So he would have his camera on and it would be broad daylight outside, and I was like, what happened? We're not in the city we live in. Where are you? But aside from that, which isn't that big of a deal, it was just kind of crazy because he was so open about it. Like, I guess any online class that I've ever taken, there's the possibility that the professor or the instructor or whatever, the lecturer, wasn't actually in the city, in the state, was far away. But he was so open about it. Because he told us too. He was like, I'm going. God, I wish I remember where it was. I don't remember. But he told us he was leaving, and so he like made sure to tell us like the time zones as well, that when assignments were due, it was due in our time zone and not in his time zone, and he would make sure to do the conversions so to not like try to play games on him and trick him and whatever. And I was like, you can teach from anywhere, but you can also have your private life. You don't have to tell us all of this. But I just thought it was crazy. I thought it was crazy how he just got up and moved halfway through. But also, like, that's not what made him a bad professor. He was a bad professor because I guess that's what they do. I was gonna say he just talked and talked and talked and talked. But yeah, I guess that is what professors do. But also, I just feel like he never taught anything. He just spoke, and then he wrote the things he was saying down as he spoke on a like a Word document, like a Microsoft Word document. So he would say things, and then he would write down the things he was saying, and that was it. It didn't feel like teaching. I guess maybe that's the error that occurs when like you're, because it wasn't like a class. I actually just do not know. I was gonna try to give him the benefit of the doubt, but I don't know why he did that. He didn't like prepare slides. It wasn't engaging. He did the teacher professor 100% makes the class. Yeah, it's you have the best experience, I think, with a professor that feels like they care, you know? Like, I have a professor this semester where there's been a couple classes where we haven't really done anything, but even so, they've been so engaging. Like, there was one day, it was after midterms, and we'd gotten our midterms back, we had gone through all the answers, and we were just kind of sitting there, because there was time left, and we started talking about, because he's just, like, so open and fun and engaging, the students feel, like, really comfortable, like, talking to him, and, like, being personable with him, and somebody asked him, like, hey, what's your astrological sign? Oh, I remember. He got asked what his astrological sign was because um, one of our assignments for the class had been to take personality tests. Like, it was actually the first time I had gotten like such an unconventional assignment. I had to take like the MBTI test, and for like assignment credit, I was like, this is insane. My mother used to tell me when I was younger and I wasn't doing my homework and I was like watching TV or playing video games, she would always say, you're never gonna have a teacher that gives you an assignment to watch TV or to play video games, but you know, that's all you want to do. And every time I get really weird assignments like that, I think back to that moment and I'm like, Mom, you told me nobody was ever gonna give me assignments to play video games or watch TV or take personality quizzes or do silly things that weren't academic focused, and look how wrong you were. That same that same um that same professor that gave us the assignment to take the personality test also gave us an assignment to take the MBTI. Or I said that already, sorry. No, not the MBTI. The an assignment to watch the Super Bowl. That's what our assignment was. Less to watch the Super Bowl, more to watch the Super Bowl commercials. Um, so because you know the Super Bowl commercials are always like super crazy and people always talk about them. So that was our assignment, to watch the Super Bowl commercials. And so I actually did a really silly thing. Uh, because my school account used to be linked to my mom's email, sometimes when I would get assignments and when sometimes I would hand them in late, unfortunately, because I am human, I hand them in late sometimes. Sorry, Mom. But she would get emails about new assignment postings and that things were late. And assignments watched the best part of Super Bowl. Yeah, didn't. I don't care for the football. But she would get the emails about late assignments, and so I told her. So sometimes she would talk to me and she'd be like, "I see this assignment is late. It got an email that you didn't hand this one in. What happened?" And I'd be like, Anyway, so I told her after I got that assignment, I was like, Mom, I don't think I'm doing my homework this weekend. I was like, I don't think I'm doing this assignment. I got an assignment that I don't think I'm gonna do. And she was like, why aren't you gonna do your assignment? What is the assignment that you're not gonna do it? And I was like, my homework is to watch the Super Bowl. And she was like, well, if you're not gonna do your homework. and then I didn't watch the Super Bowl because you can find all the ads on the internet and you don't actually have to sit through multiple hours of sports to get it. So I didn't watch Super Bowl. But then yeah, we went into class the next day and we talked about the Super Bowl ads. It was really funny. I didn't contribute to this conversation because don't want to be perceived, but you know, people were talking about all the ads and blah blah blah. And so yeah, the professor totally makes the class like fun assignments like that, engaging conversations like that, things that let people put their personality into it. Yes, looking at the ads the day after is great. Yeah, don't make me sit through those sports. Just give me the commercials. Um, it's just a giant like marketing block. It's not even a sports competition. It's just an advertisement competition. But back to the original story, like the zodiac sign. Yeah, we were chilling after the midterms, and somebody asked what um the professor's astrological sign was, and then instead of telling us, he told us to guess. So everybody started like throwing out astrological signs, and I didn't say anything. I had an opinion. Oh, okay. I didn't have an opinion based off of like his personality on what I thought his astrological sign was, because I don't truly know all the personalities of all the astrological signs. But I had this professor the semester before, and sometimes professors, not all of them, but sometimes they'll mention about like fun things, exciting things happening in their life. Like a different professor I had last week, their son's birthday was that week, And so they mentioned it in the class. So sometimes they're human. They'll talk about the fun things going on in their lives. Um, but this professor didn't uh this professor that last semester didn't mention anything about their birthday happening. And so I was like, so their birthday is not in like the last 4 months of the year. And we're like three-ish, like 3 months through the beginning of this year. So that's over half. Like, I tried to deduce my way to what their zodiac sign was. And so I was like, okay, it's not from the end of August to the end of the year, and it's not from the beginning of the year to the end of March. So it's either April, May, June, July, or whatever the zodiac sign is in the beginning of August. And so I was like, I don't think it's this one, and I don't think it's that one, just because they feel wrong. It was just a spiritual feeling. So I thought, I was like, I think their birthday is in summer. I think more often than not, when you know somebody and you don't really know when their birthday is or what their sign is, and you've like been around them for a good portion of the year, especially if it's during like the school year, then there's probably a decent guess that their birthday happens in summer. And so that left me with, I think, Cancer. I actually just don't know. I don't know what comes after Cancer. I know like little batches of zodiac signs. Like I know Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer. I think that's it. I don't think. Okay, I think that's the only order I know. I don't remember. I should try to learn it. I should try to learn I think I know all the signs. I just don't know the order. Actually, I think it's okay. So Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer. I think I know mine, and that's about it. Yeah, I think I know the signs, just not the order they're in. Of those four, there's Scorpio, Capricorn. Oh god, that's only 6. That's only half. Scorpio, Capricorn, Sagittarius, Virgo, Leo, Libra, Aquarius? I think that's all of them. I think I got all of them. Yeah, I think that was all 12. I couldn't tell you the order. They were in. But yeah, I tried to like methodically deduce what their zodiac sign was. So I was left with about like 3 or 4 that happened at the end of spring towards and through the summer. And I just took a leap of faith. I took a guess and I got it right. The funny part of it was that because we were all guessing, he sent around like an official sheet and was like, write your guesses down on that. Whoever gets a correct guess, they get extra points on their midterm. And so I got the correct guess, and I hopefully I got extra points. I don't actually know if I did get extra. He could have been joking, but I think he was serious because somebody asked, "Are you for real?" and he like nodded. I think even if it was more points, I think it was just like 1 or 2. But if he did give extra points for guessing his zodiac sign correctly, then I'm glad I put method to the madness and like got there through like trying to deduce because of how long I've had him as a professor. So that was pretty fun. But yeah, if the professor's cool, if the professor's chill, then the class is chill. No matter how hard the tests or how boring the material, if the professor feels like they're having fun and they're having a good time teaching it, then it's a good vibe. It's a good vibe. But that one borderline crazy guy who I had as a professor, the reason he was a bad professor wasn't because he was kind of kooky. It was mostly because he didn't like again, he didn't really teach anything, but also he didn't give assignments. And you would think like, oh, no homework, no assignments, yippee. But it's actually really bad in the long run because the only assignments he gave were the midterm and the final, and those are really heavy assignments. And you hate assignments. You hate having frequent homework. You hate having a lot of tests. You hate having a lot to do. But the more stuff you do, the more stuff there is to like pad out your grade. And so if you do badly on one thing, or you forget one thing, or you submit something late so you lose points, there's other things that are there that like supplement it and like kind of like pad it out. So it's like, hey, this hit hard, but it would have hit way harder if you didn't have all this other stuff to break, like to break its fall. But he only gave 2 assignments, and so this class, it's not a class where I don't how do I describe it? It's a weird class. It was like sociology or something like that, or something that's like about the way the mind works, or not psychology. It wasn't psychology because I've taken a psychology class. It was what's the other one? It's not sociology, philosophy. I think it was philosophy. I think it was a philosophy class. And so it's not like a class where you can kind of BS the answers. It's asking about theories and what this guy said and how he would feel about this, blah blah blah. And so it's not like when I was growing up, I really loved math because I loved that in a math class you would always get the right answer if you did the right steps. Like, this math problem has one way to solve it. If you do this order of steps, you'll get the right answer every single time. For any problem that looks like this problem and is formatted like this problem, if you do this formula, if you do this set of instructions, you will get the correct answer. And as somebody who just following instructions was so easy for me, like, math was my bread and butter. I loved that I could see a problem, think, I know how to get this answer because you do this, 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 and this, and I would get the right answer. I would always struggle a lot more in classes that were like open-ended, something like philosophy, where it's all about interpretation and thinking about situations and circumstances. That like stressed me out a ton because I always felt like I was going to interpret incorrectly. I liked math because there really was no room for interpretation. You did it like this and you got it right, or you did something else and you got it wrong. So for philosophy, it wasn't like a class you could BS your way through. And so I never thought I was gonna do really well on any of the assignments he gave, and I didn't do bad. I think I did very average. I think I got like either 70s or 80s, but as a whole, for those 2 assignments, and I guess maybe attendance, he probably took attendance as well, but for those 2 assignments and attendance to be the only thing that he had to grade on, I'm sure that there's a lot of people who just didn't do well because 1 of the material, 2 of the way he taught, and that it wasn't very engaging or interesting and didn't like provide it didn't provide you anything to learn, really. And the fact that was it. That was the only assignments he gave. Just 1 paper for a midterm and 1 paper for a final. I think for my entire secondary education, that class was the worst. And I had a class that's saying something. One semester I had a class that started at 9:30 in the morning and was 3 hours long. So if the class that was at 6 in the evening online that I could take from my home was like, if I'm saying that was the worst class, he was a bad professor. Um, so yeah, professor and the teacher totally make the class. Um, Real song is kind of crazy for a class. Yeah, it was, I think officially it was about um 2 hours and 45 minutes. Just under 3 hours. But usually, by the time the professor has actually stopped talking and everybody has like put away all their stuff, you're out of there like 5 minutes before it hits 3 hours. And if you're on time or even early, you're there before 9:30. And so really, you're definitely there, sitting in that room for 3 hours. So yeah, I I told myself, it was a promise to myself, I am never taking another class at 9:30 in the morning. I think the earliest I would like to ever have to take a class again, if I can help it, is 11 a.m. I I know, like, K through 12. When I was in K through 12, I had to get up at like 6:15, maybe 6:30 the latest, and start getting ready for school. And so, I spent so many years doing that. It shouldn't be so hard to get up at around the same time to get ready to go to school for a 9:30 a.m. class, but there's something about it that's just so incredibly difficult. I think maybe it's the lack of like consistent routine, and how when you do it in K through 12, it's every day, 5 days a week. But if you do it in secondary education, it's maybe like once or twice a week that you have to get up that early. And so truthfully, even though it sounds better, it makes it a lot harder in the long run. But yeah, never again taking a class that early. It's so hard to wake up for it. Uh, and I get there and I'm not present mentally. I'm physically there, mentally somewhere else, counting down the minutes until I can get out of it. Or maybe the counting down the minutes part wasn't so much because it was 9:30, and more because it was 3 hours long, and by the time I'd hit hour 2, I was like, I'm done. I can't anymore. So you just like stare at the clock waiting for it to end. Sometimes I stare at the clock waiting for it to end in my like 75-minute classes. And those are half the length of my 3-hour class. So you can only imagine how a 3-hour class must have felt. There were days when, like, again, it wasn't so bad because it was a lot more engaging. But overall, if overall the class, like, if staring at the clock always makes it go slower, yeah, so I try not to do it. I try to pay attention to what the professor's saying as much, like, when I'm in that mood where I'm like, I want it to end, I want it to end, I want it to end, I try to pay attention to what the professor is saying as much as possible, because, like, taking the time to listen and process the words and just, it, like, the time will just fly by faster. I know it won't, but it'll feel like it's going by faster. So that's what I try to do when I'm in that situation. Um, but yeah, it's hard. It's hard, especially when you have classes that are that long. And if they're not as engaging as they could be, it's just a disaster all around. But overall, I think those were the worst experiences. Both from a professor standpoint and then from like a time standpoint. Every other experience has been pretty okay. The only thing I don't like sometimes is, it sounds, in theory, since I travel to school and I don't actually like stay on campus, it sounds in theory good to have like a single class on one day, but actually I hate that more than if I were to have like 2 or 3 days where I had 2 or 3 classes each. Um, because when you have one class, when I have one class, especially if it's just a 75-minute class, which most classes are about 75 minutes, then when you do the math and you work it out, I spend longer on transportation going and coming from that class than I do in the class itself, which just feels like a waste. Yeah, driving to school for one class feels like a waste. Yeah, it's a massive waste of time. It, yeah, it sounds so good in theory, and then it's just not. But then the other thing that's like different, or not different, but like the other side of the coin is that when you have multiple classes on one day, if something happens and the professor calls out sick, or they're gonna be busy, or they cancel that one of the classes, you still have to go to school that day. It's not like a yippee free day. It's like, no, I don't have to go to that class. I still have to get up and do the whole routine because I have 2 more classes that I have to go to that aren't canceled. I've had situations where like my one class that I had on that day canceled or online. And so I don't have to get up and go anywhere, which is great. But then I've also experienced it the other way where I have more than one class and that class is canceled, and a different class that I had that same day, it's still happening, and so then I still have to get up and go to it anyway. That happened to me most recently, a couple weeks ago, maybe 2 weeks ago, where one of my professors was just not feeling well, feeling kind of sick. Or not sick, but they said they were like fatigued, I think, or tired. Their body just didn't feel good. And this was a day where the other class that I had, the other professor, even if they were feeling fine, I feel like they genuinely should have canceled class anyway, because the weather was so bad. Like really, really bad. Like wind blowing like crazy, raining like crazy, like umbrella breaking type of weather. And so I feel like they could have very easily been like, hey guys, the weather sucks, stay home, online class. But they didn't do that. I went to school and I came home and my mom had been watching the news, obviously, and she saw like, whenever it rains really hard or there's really like intense weather, something always kind of happens, whether it's a flood or blah blah blah. And she was watching the weather and she was like, the other professor that you had for the other class you had today really should have just canceled the class or had it online because the weather was so crazy to ask people to go to school in. But yeah, that was one of those days where it's like, thank God I don't have to go in for that class, but I still have to get up and go in for a different one. And then it turned into, the waste-like feeling where I went for a single class. And so it's like, well, normally I go for 2 classes and I'm at the school itself for like 4 hours. And so it feels better to go for that long and then go home than it does to go for one class. And then, especially because that class is like, it happens really late in the afternoon to basically the evening. And so it felt like after an entire day of sleeping, laying in my bed, doing nothing, I then got up to go to school in the evening for just a single class in horrendous weather. So I was pretty not excited about that. So that was a sucky day. But that was it for sucky days this semester. I think that was it for sucky days this semester. Other than this whole past week that kind of sucked, but it doesn't count as just one day. This week was a roller coaster. But overall, school's pretty good. I just can't wait for it to end. I can't wait for it to end this like after this spring, so that I can be free and not have to worry about setting alarms and waking up. The thing I've discovered about like picking your own schedule and waking up, I used to not be able to sleep super well when I had a super diverse schedule where on different days my classes started at different times. Like if on Monday and Wednesday my class started at 11, and then on Tuesday my class started at 9:30, and then on Friday my class started at 2 p.m. It would like mess with my ability to sleep well. I think both because like if I go to bed at 1 in the morning, then on different days I'm getting different amounts of sleep. Like obviously when I have to wake up to be at school for 9:30, then I have to factor in transportation, and then I have to factor in getting ready. And so I'm waking up, hello spooky ghost, and then I'm waking up at like 6 a.m. in the morning, so I'm really not getting that much sleep. So I think it ruined my ability to sleep well like that. But also, I would like forget what day of the week it was, like every single day. I would wake up and think it was one day and it would be a different day, and my alarm would wake me up and I'd be like, do I actually have to get up right now? Is it this day? Do I have class this time? And then I would have to turn on my phone and look, and I would have to think, and I'd be like, wait, what time am I supposed to wake up on Tuesdays to get to school on time? I forget what day of the week it is every day. Yeah, that's why I hate having my schedule like on different days my classes start at different times, because when they all start at the same time like they do this semester, except for Fridays, my classes start on a different time on Friday, but when they all start at the same time like they do this semester, um I can set one alarm for basically every day of the week. I know, like I don't have to think about what day of the week it is. I just know that alarm goes off, it means I gotta get up. I know exactly what time I need to leave the house every single day, blah blah blah. It's easy. I don't have to think about it. I prefer it when I don't have to think about it, because when I have to think about it, I forget what day of the week it is. I forget what day of the week it is when I'm at the school too. Like obviously campuses have like tons of different buildings. There's one for science, there's one for this, there's one for math, there's blah blah blah. So I have to go to a different building on multiple different days. Um, my schedule is all over the place. I feel so sorry for you. I'm so sorry. Consistent schedules are the best. Alarms save lives. They truly do. I don't think I would. I think my alarms do help me to remember what day of the week it is, because they kind of go off at different times depending on what day of the week it is. If at least if my classes start at different times. But still, I'll wake up and I think I can still sleep more, right? It's only 7 a.m. I can go back to sleep, and it's like, no, you can't. You have to get dressed. What was I saying? Oh, yeah, the buildings. So, like, there's different buildings for every different department, and I'll be at school and walking up to the doors of one building, and then I'll stop myself and I'll go, wait, what day of the week is it? And I pull out my phone and I read the day of the week, and I'm like, oh my god, I'm at the wrong building, and I have to go all the way to the other side so that because I'm at the wrong building. This isn't where my classes are. I have to go to a different building, and it's literally when I was about to walk through the doors of that building that I remembered that. My sleep schedule isn't a schedule, it's a mess. Same here. It morphs like so consistently. Especially because I nap during the day, which I know is like the worst thing for a good consistent sleep schedule, but I can't help it. I just love taking a nap. I'll nap even like I'll nap at nighttime too. Like I'll go to school and I'll get back in the night, and I'll like sit down and I'll fall asleep and take a nap. And so then I'll wake up a couple hours before midnight, like an hour, or no, not an hour, like 2 or 3 hours before midnight. And so then obviously I'm not going to bed again until like 3 or 4 a.m. in the morning, which is bad when you have to wake up and go to school. Um, yeah, my sleep schedule just, it morphs a ton. And there's some, like, even when I manage to get it under control, like, I just slowly, over time, start going to bed, like, later and later. Like, I'll go to bed at 12, and then the next night it'll be 1, and then the next night it'll be 2, and then the next night it'll be 3, and then all of a sudden it's 6 a.m. and I haven't gone to sleep yet. Sometimes I sleep really early, like 9 p.m., and sometimes I sleep after 2 a.m. Sometimes I don't sleep at all. Exactly, sometimes I don't even sleep at all. And it's like, I don't notice it a ton because I have really dark curtains. I don't like letting sunlight into my room a lot. Sometimes I'll wake up in the morning and the sunlight, like seeing my room look fully illuminated, will like hurt my eyes because it's like going from darkness to the brightness, and it's like a lot. So I have super dark curtains and I don't let sunlight in basically ever. So there have been times when I've just been awake through the entire night, and it's like 8 a.m. and I'm like, well, I guess I should sleep? Question mark. I wish I could take a nap. It always turns into sleeping through the night no matter when I lie down. Really? Oh wow. I can nap unless it's like really, really late. I can take a nap. Like, I can take a nap at 8 p.m. and be like, I'll wake up in 2 hours. Like, because 8 p.m., I think my body just knows that 8 p.m. is not bedtime for me. It hasn't been bedtime for me probably ever since I was a child. I can't sleep during the day. I don't take a nap every day, but there are some days when I'm just like, I could take a nap right now. I feel for a nap right now, and I just lay down and it just kind of happens. No matter how tired I am, my body won't let me take a nap if it's daytime. That's so interesting because I'm like, oh my god, thank you for the follow. That's so interesting because I will wake up and be like fully awake and fully alert and not tired, and I'll sit down and still be able to take a nap. Like, I'm not tired. I've gotten a full 8, maybe even 9 or 10 hours of sleep, but as soon as I like sit down and I get comfortable, I can just fall right asleep right there. So to say you can't even take a get like sleep during the day at all ever, that's so baffling to me. I think realistically, as long as I was comfortable, I could sleep anywhere at any time and it like wouldn't matter. I think naps just become likely for me because like I go to school and then I come home and the first thing my body wants to do is just relax instantly, immediately. And so the easiest way to do that is a nap. I think it's also fueled by the fact that like when I go to school, I don't eat before I go and I don't eat there. And so a lot of the times the first meal that I've had all day is like 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock. And so my body is like, you're home, it's time to relax, it's time to rest. Like, since I've put food in it. And so it recognizes that it can wind down, it can like turn off, and it can take a nap. So that also might be part of it, of why I can nap so easily. But I could also, there is an external factor in me, which are the prescriptions I take. Yeah, that can probably mess up with like your sleep schedule, your sleep rhythm, the way your body like wakes up and shuts down. That probably has a bit to do with it as well. But I can also like nap like right after I wake up too. Like, wake up, brush teeth, breakfast, sit down, nap. Like, it truly does not matter for me. Yeah, my body and brain are probably very confused. Yeah, it's trying to work through and figure out so many different things at the same time. I wish you good luck. Well, love that routine. Yeah, I can nap anywhere, anytime. I used to have friends that would call me Alright, sorry, I wish I could stay longer, but it's already 1:20 a.m. EST here, so I need to sleep. I need to be able to. Oh gosh, you have to be up at 7. You should be sleeping already. We're already talking about messed up sleep schedules. Good night. Have a good night. I hope you sleep well. Thanks for hanging out. It's 1:20 for me here as well, but I did take a nap today, so I'm definitely not going to bed for a bit longer. But I still have some stuff to do before I go to sleep. Uh, I've gotta I gotta wash dishes. I have to I have to wash dishes and I have to take a shower. It's 1:22 p.m. for me. Oh my god, all the way on the other side of the world. 12 hours away exactly. Although I guess that's only because we're in daylight savings time. Normally, normally it would be 13? Yeah, 13 hours away. But still have stuff to do. I'm house sitting, so I have stuff to like take care of every single day. I'm house sitting for like 2 more weeks. I finished 1 week today, so I have 2 more weeks to go. EST for the win. I don't know if we're doing time zone wars. I don't know how you win time zone wars. Like, wouldn't you win time zone wars by being in the future technically? Because I don't know. You experience things faster. So wouldn't like EST be one of the losers of time zone wars? I don't know. What's the criteria for best or worst time zone? Forgot what I was saying. Oh, yes, I am in the future for you guys. Yeah, the whole 12 hours ahead. What's it like? Anything interesting happen? Uh, I've never, I've never been outside of EST. I don't think. Yeah, no. I've only ever been in EST. It sucks, honestly. Why does it suck? It feels like it would be. I feel like being in the quickest time zone would be fun, as opposed to being in one of the slower time zones. Being awake is tiring? Oh, because it's the daytime? Is that why it sucks? and you can't, like, go to sleep yet? Or is it something else? I can't go to sleep yet either, even though it's late here. I have to. Oh my god, I had a crazy day today. Something like insane happened to me that never happened before, and I don't think honestly will ever happen as long as I live. I was I like to when I make food, I like to make food in bulk so that I don't have to cook every single day, because honestly it's such a time sink. You know, going back to time sinks, like like going to school every single day just for like one class. Yeah, I hate like doing the same thing every single day when you could minimize it by just doing a lot of it in one sitting. So I cook food in bulk, and one of the things I do is I make a ton of hard-boiled eggs. Like this last time, I made 9 hard-boiled eggs in one sitting. My eating habit is really weird. What is your eating habit that's weird? Do I have a weird eating habit? My strangest eating habit is that I just like eating. I like the taste of food, and I like having flavors. This is gonna sound so odd. I like having I like flavors. Like I like eating sweet food, I like eating savory food, I like eating salty food. I like the sensations of tasting food, of having like yummy stuff to eat. And so I eat not a lot, but I want to eat frequently so that I can like taste more things and like have more flavors. That sounds crazy. I know that sounds insane. 9 hard-boiled eggs seems like a lot. It is a lot, but I eat like 2 at a time. So 9 hard-boiled eggs like doesn't even last me an entire week. I don't eat breakfast, I don't eat lunch, sometimes eat something between lunch and dinner, and then I eat dinner. Yeah, that's what I do too. Especially, well, not all the time. That's what I do when I have school. It doesn't matter when I go to school. Like, even it doesn't matter if I go for like 9 a.m. or 10 a.m. or 2 p.m. Um, I never eat breakfast, and when I'm there, it's usually lunchtime, and I never eat lunch, and I just come home and then maybe have a snack. But if I don't have a snack, then I just eat dinner, and then that's my day. That's all I eat. That's me every day, lol. Yeah, I can relate to not every day for me, but I can relate to it. Yeah, I have that habit sometimes too. When I'm home on the weekends, I eat lunch maybe and then dinner. Breakfast is so it seems breakfast is absolutely a no-no for everybody. um, I usually eat one meal a day, so yeah, I'm usually one meal a day too. Even on days where I eat more than just dinner, it's usually still just one meal. Like I'll have like right before I started, I had like cookies and milk, which I count as my breakfast because it happened after it didn't happen after 12, it happened right before 12, but I count it as breakfast anyway. Yeah, no one has time for breakfast. Yeah, breakfast is the biggest scam that anyone has ever tried to sell ever. I like breakfast foods. You couldn't convince me to eat breakfast. You couldn't, you'd have to, I don't know if you could pay me enough money. I just don't have an appetite that early in the morning. And then there's the thing with like, right after you brush your teeth, your breath is all like minty. And so, breakfast for dinner is so good sometimes. I love breakfast for dinner. Breakfast for dinner, breakfast itself at breakfast time, scam. Breakfast for dinner is what they should have been trying to sell us the entire time. I'll die for a plate of chocolate pancakes, but I will never eat it for breakfast. Yeah, I just, I feel like food tastes better in the night. Maybe it's because you were awake all day and it feels more like you've earned it and it's more like a reward. But I wake up and I eat and it doesn't feel like I should be eating that early in the morning. But breakfast for breakfast is so crazy. Yeah, it's not. I don't. I don't know why people eat breakfast. I feel like even if I feel like the earliest meal should be lunch. I feel like it should be lunch, dinner, midnight snack. I feel like those are the three meal times that we should have invented. Like lunch, dinner, and then something right before you go to bed. And so then you wake up and you go about your day in the beginning or stages, and then you have lunch like halfway through. That's perfect. Well, yeah, that's what it should have been the entire time. The cavemen should have had me there to establish what our meal system should have been. uh I totally forgot. Oh, I was talking about my hard-boiled eggs. So yeah, I cook in bulk, and I made like 9 hard-boiled eggs today, or not today. I made them yesterday before I went to bed, so that I would have them to eat throughout the weekend and through the beginning of the week. And so I put them in the fridge, and I was going to eat 2 of them. Not this morning. I didn't eat today until, or yesterday, because it's past midnight. So I didn't eat yesterday until like 3 o'clock. That was my first meal. It was lunch, I guess, but it was very late lunch. Um, I put them in the microwave to make them, and the thing that happens, I don't know if it is a universal thing, but it happens to me all the time. When I microwave hard-boiled eggs, I guess just because of the water inside of them, they tend to explode. Basically, I just eat when I'm hungry, which is usually like after 4 p.m. I think, yeah, that's me too. There are days also where if I were to leave myself up to that system, I'm potentially might not eat until like a lot later. But typically, yeah. Wait, you can microwave hard-boiled eggs? Yeah. If you cook them, if you cook them and you shell them, you could put them in the refrigerator, and then you could like microwave them over the next couple of days. But when you do it, you have to cut them, because if you don't, like what happens to me, they'll explode in the microwave, and you'll have hard-boiled egg all over your entire microwave. I don't have a microwave, Oh my god, I don't know what I would do if I didn't have a microwave. Even just yesterday, my mom called me because she she cooked her hard-boiled eggs in the microwave. I didn't even know you could do that. I didn't know you could take raw eggs, put them in the microwave, and they would be hard. You could make hard-boiled eggs. So that was a shock to me too. I think it's because they're getting heated too quickly. I think it's either that. I truly, truly, and honestly just do not know. I really don't know why they're exploding. Um, I thought maybe it was because like there was water inside of them and like it expands or something and like it has to escape so they pop. But I've never really thought about the science behind it. Maybe I could like look it up. I never thought about that. I always assumed people ate them cold. Um, wait. Oh, like you make hard-boiled eggs. Yeah, I was like, in order to eat them cold, you have to put them in the fridge. But yeah, I eat them cold when I'm eating like a salad. Like if I was making a salad and I was like cutting up hard-boiled eggs to put in a salad, or if I was making egg salad and I was like making it to eat with like toast, then I would eat it cold. But sometimes I warm them up if I'm eating it with like other food. Like if I was eating it with like, I don't know, pancakes or something, then I would warm them up. Uh, and so then I would have like warm pancakes and warm hard-boiled eggs. I remember when I was really young, my dad would cover a hard-boiled egg with a thin cloth and roll it over my bruises. Made me smell like eggs for the rest of the day. Does that help? Did it make it better? Did you like feel better at least? Is it like the myth that if you like, is it like if you kiss a bruise or you kiss a boo-boo, it gets better because of like the power of love? If you roll a hard-boiled egg over your bruises, does it get better through the power of like protein or something? Where did that come from? It feels like such a obscure, feels like such an odd thing to do to bruises. Wait, what did you do with the hard-boiled egg afterwards? Did you eat it? I think it has something to do with heat doing something to bruises, but I don't know. I feel like you could have just used the hot cloth then, right? Because you wrapped it in a cloth anyway, so that the heat could get through it. So why didn't you just like put hot water? Why didn't you just like boil water and then like use a hot cloth? I'm very confused about this method. I don't know. I don't know what the intention. I don't know what the intention was. That is one of my life's greatest mysteries. Yeah, that's crazy. I don't think I've ever heard of hard-boiled eggs being used as like a remedy to like make you feel better or like take away pain. I don't know, maybe it worked. Maybe the obscurity of it and how like funny it was, like made you forget about like the fact that you had a bruise and the fact that you were hurt. Maybe it was like to take your mind off of it. Like, why am I rubbing a hard-boiled egg on myself? What is this doing? How is this helping me? And then through that process, you were just not paying attention to how the fact that you had a bruise anymore. He outwitted logic? Yeah. I don't even know how he came up with that one. Maybe he was just looking around the kitchen one day for outsmart the bruises. Yeah, the bruises don't even know how to react. They don't know what they're supposed to do. Are they supposed to go away? Are they supposed to get worse? That's I would be baffled if I saw somebody take a hard-boiled egg and rub it over their bruises in front of me. I I would have so many questions, and I just wouldn't answer. I wouldn't ask any of them because I'd be concerned about the answers that I got. Wow, hard-boiled eggs. truly capable of things that I never thought about. Um, but yeah, I made hard-boiled eggs to eat, and I was warming them up today. And like I said, like they kind of explode on me pretty often, which kind of sucks. Um, but today I warmed them up and they didn't explode, and I was really happy. Because they explode on me all the time, and I have to kind of like stop the microwave and then start it again sometimes. But even then, they still explode, so I truly don't know what to do. But I ran the microwave for 2 minutes today, and my hard-boiled eggs did not explode. And I was like, yes. Um, and so I opened the microwave to take my plate out, but it was really hot, and there was like steam on it, and like not the condensation, but like the steam bubbles when something is like super hot, it like sweats, I guess, in the heat, and it was hard to hold. So I pulled it out very, very slowly, and I put it on the counter in front of the microwave, and uh, because I'm so used to my eggs exploding, I had the microwave open and I like peeked into the microwave, like leaned over the bowl and looked into the microwave to just make sure the eggs didn't explode anywhere. And then I didn't really see anything. There was a little bit of egg splatter on like the microwave cover, but I was like, I'll just rinse that off. And I was like, thank God, because I'm so used to like look the inside of my microwave looking like a crime scene whenever I make hard-boiled eggs. Like they just go everywhere. But I didn't see anything, and I was like, yay! And so then I was about to pull back from being right over my bowl of food and right in front of the microwave and looking inside. And right before I got the ability to pull back, one of the eggs in my bowl, which I had cut into forts so that it didn't explode, but right underneath my face, the egg exploded. And it went everywhere. It went all over my kitchen. It went on the floor, on the side of the refrigerator. It somehow got on top of the refrigerator. It got on the counter. It got in the microwave. And the worst part is, it got in my eye. And I was so baffled by the fact that an egg just exploded in my eye that I kind of just stood there for a while and like looked at all the damage, and I tried to like blink, and then I realized, oh, there's like egg yolk in my eye. I should go like take care of that. And so I ran to the bathroom and like rinsed my eye out and came back into the kitchen, and I sat and or didn't sit, but I just stood there and I just looked at it and I was like, oh, I have so much cleaning to do. Microwaves intimidate me and I don't know why. I feel like any appliance is very scary to use the first time around. Microwaves honestly, especially pretty intimidating. Because you could like leave a fork in there, leave a spoon in there, and accidentally microwave it. You're not supposed to microwave tinfoil. There's certain dishes or bowls aren't microwave safe, so you have to make sure you're checking before you put them in there. Yeah, there's a lot of like precautions that you've got to take with microwaves, but like once you know all of them, they're pretty easy to use and it's like not that scary. But sometimes I do freak out that I accidentally like left my spoon or left my fork in the bowl and I put it in the microwave, but I've never actually done it. It was always just like anxiety and like baseless fear, like, oh my god, did I do it? I don't remember taking it out. Could you just fork them before you microwave? Like, wait, what do you what do you mean by fork them? Like stab them? I cut them up. Before I microwave them, I cut them up. Usually I cut them into eighths. This time I cut them into quarters because I'm not at my home. It's not my microwave. And I usually, from what the person who lives here has told me, eggs don't usually explode in their microwave, which, to be honest, is true and held up. The egg exploded after I took it out of the microwave. So I guess they weren't really lying. um, but yeah, I had so much cleaning to do. It was such a mess. Wait, do they still explode after you cut them? I cut them before I put them in the microwave, and yes, they still explode after I cut them. After I cut them and I microwave them, oftentimes they still explode, and truthfully, I've got no idea why. I think eggs just hate me. Um, yeah, hard-boiled eggs, they hate me. They'll do anything to explode. I cut them up very small, and oftentimes it doesn't help. Um, the scariest appliance incident I've ever had, if microwaves scare you, the scariest appliance incident I've ever had was when I was younger. I was making waffles in the toaster, and this story is actually the reason why we don't have a toaster at the house I live in anymore. We have a microwave and a toaster oven, which basically is a toaster, but we don't have a toaster anymore. We used to have a toaster for a really long time, and I guess this story happened because it hit the end of its lifespan. Maybe, or maybe the toaster just hated me. Um, but we had a really old toaster that we'd had for a really long time, and one day I was making waffles in it. Maybe it's because of the temperature change being too drastic and sudden. I've never thought about that, but then if that's the case, how do you warm them up without them exploding? If it getting too hot means they're just gonna react like that. Um, but I was making waffles in the toaster, and toasters are like any appliance. Put it in and you walk away. Unless you're making hard-boiled eggs and you don't walk away because they're probably going to explode when you turn your back. At least if you're me. But I put my waffles in and I walked away, and I don't know what I did. I probably wanted to go watch TV or play a video game or something, and then I came back a couple minutes later and they weren't done. But I didn't want them to like burn. And sometimes, you set the intensity and the time, but sometimes you're like, I'll take them out before they're finished. So I peeked over the toaster. I realize these food incidents are happening because I keep having like food near me and like peeking into appliances. I probably should stop doing that. Oh wait, I know there's high water content in the egg, and when it heats up, the steam builds up and there's the pressure increases until it explodes. That's what I thought it might have been. I thought it might have been like a water thing, and like, water heating up, steam, blah blah blah, and it needs like somewhere to go, and so it just keeps expanding until it explodes, which is why I cut them, which is why I try to cut them. But I guess, it is what it is. I can't imagine cutting them any smaller than I already do. The only thing I think I might start to try is I might eggs can be annoying. Yes, they are very annoying. The only thing I might start to do is I might try like warming them up in bursts. I guess, like the temperature change thing being too drastic. I might try to like do like 40 seconds and then like take it out and then like make sure the steam can go somewhere and then like give it another 40 seconds and then, keep doing that until like they're the temperature I want them to be. That might be what I have to do. Look, it's annoying and it's tedious, but I would so much rather prefer going through all of that than having to clean egg residue off my microwave every single time that I used it. Because the cleaning up the egg guts is so infuriating, but probably the worst part is that like when my eggs explode like that, then I don't have less eggs to eat because it's on the microwave, and then I just wipe it off and throw all of the stuff that's on the microwave like down the drain or in the trash can, because I'm not gonna wipe it off the microwave and eat it. And so it's kind of just a waste, and I hate like wasting food like that, and it makes me sad because I'm usually looking forward to my meal, and then I have less of it, and then my eggs exploded, and then I have to clean, and so then it's just stuff on top of stuff piled up, which makes me pretty sad. So I'd much rather I'll do anything to make those eggs not explode. Um, yeah, but back to my insane toaster story. That we should set up a counseling session for the egg and ask it why it wants to self-implode. Yes, that egg and every other egg in existence. Because this happens way too often. There's a problem. The eggs are going through something, they're struggling, and we've got to get to the bottom of it. Which, I mean, its fate is either implode or be eaten. So I guess it's probably choosing the lesser of two evils at the end of the day. But anyways, my toaster story, that like I said, I'm realizing is because I'm sticking my face way too close to kitchen appliances. Or the microwave story wasn't the microwave's fault. It was the egg's fault. And if I had put the egg away from the microwave, it would have still exploded, but it wouldn't have exploded in my eye. But I also didn't put it away from the microwave because it was way too hot and I was waiting for the dish to cool off. So there wasn't really a way to avoid this situation. But the toaster story could have been avoided by me not being a child and sticking my face above the toaster, which everybody does, right? Like I know it seems like dumb in hindsight, but like you peek into the toaster so that you can check to make sure your toast isn't burned or your waffle isn't burned. Because you don't want them to like get too burnt and like too brown and too toasty and crispy. And so you like look in and check the color and yada yada yada. And so that's all I was doing when I was making waffles. But then out of nowhere, this small ball of fire just like erupts out of the toaster, and I like jump back really quickly because wow, hey, that's fire. And I like check my hair to make sure my hair isn't on fire because I was leaning over this toaster, and like I'm okay, I'm not burned, my hair is fine, nothing drastic has happened other than this toaster basically exploding. But my waffles have popped out and they are not cooked. And so I was like, that's weird. I don't know why a ball of fire just got thrown in my face, but I kind of want my waffles, so can you go back down and continue cooking these? And so I push the button to put the waffles back down in the toaster, and they don't go down. They go down, but they don't stay down. It's almost as if the toaster is unplugged, which it's not. I plug it out, I plug it back in, it's fine. Or it's not that it's fine, but like the other appliances are plugged in into the outlet and it's working, just the toaster isn't working for some reason. And it just didn't work ever again. And so I had to tell my dad, who was home at the time, I was like, hey, I think the toaster is like broken. And he came and he looked at it and he was like, well, throw it away, I guess. The breaker box also actually got flipped. So I was wrong about all the other appliances working, but then my dad came and fixed the breaker box, and the toaster still wasn't working. So the toaster was definitely at the end of its lifespan, I guess. I assume it was because it was at the end of its lifespan and it just wanted to go out in a giant ball of glory, giant blazing ball of fire that erupted into my face. I remember the toast ejecting from the toaster while I was peeking inside and a crumb getting in my eye. Hey, I'll take a single crumb from a toaster, from toast in a toaster, than a whole egg exploding in my face when I'm like less than a foot away from it. Which still sucks. I'm sorry that you got a crumb of toast in your eye because I can imagine that felt so uncomfortable. But also, I just experienced an entire egg exploding at me, so I don't know. I think I had it worse. But yeah, I don't think appliances, I don't think they're my friends. The stove is never, okay, I won't say that. I've burned myself a couple times. I was gonna say the stove has never burnt me, but it has. So appliances just aren't my friend. Appliances are difficult, or maybe I'm just not the smartest person. One of the two. Uh, yeah, I cook food in bulk, so I have a ton of food in the fridge. I don't understand people who like. I know there's like a trend, or maybe not. Maybe trend isn't the word, but I know there are people who like. Even my mom didn't do this when we were younger. Like she wouldn't go to work and come home and make food every day. She would go to work and come home and make food like twice a week, and we would eat what was in the fridge until it finished, and then she would make more, and then we would eat what was in the fridge until it finished, and then usually on like Friday nights we didn't have cooked food, and it was like figure it out night. Like eat a sandwich with cold cuts, or eat like fruit, or have like cookies and milk or something. And that's what like Friday nights were. Like they weren't like you didn't have like super large cooked meals on Friday nights. Um, yeah, but so I don't understand people who like come home and cook every single day. Or even if you work from home, I don't understand cooking every single day. Like I just literally could not. It feels like such a time sink. So much prep goes into cooking. I don't know why you wouldn't like do a bunch of it at once and just not have to deal with it for like the rest of the week. Um, but maybe that's just me because I do when I read like stories on time, I read like people's like I read like those relationship advice and am I the a-hole and blah 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 stuff on post on Reddit, and they'll talk about like, oh, my wife, she's the one, she goes to work and she comes home and she cooks every day and that's her chore. And I'm like, why every day? Why can't it just be like twice a week? Why can't you just make food and stick it in the fridge and eat leftovers? Am I weird that I do that? Especially when I'm going to school, like making hard-boiled eggs in bulk like that is so helpful because, you know, again, I said I don't eat breakfast, I don't eat lunch, and I could literally just come home and there's hard-boiled eggs in the fridge and I could just warm them up and eat them, or I can make an egg salad. Like I don't have to worry about the hour of time that goes into boiling the eggs and letting them cool and shelling them and then putting together whatever I was going to eat. It's just like, oh, I'm eating dinner within 15 minutes of being home. And I only have to sacrifice one evening to make all those eggs to do that. It saves so much time. So I don't know. Maybe I'm just outsmarting the system of like cooking too much. I do know that there's people out there who like don't like leftovers and who don't like the idea of eating leftovers and refrigerated food. That's like anything that's older than like 2 days. Oh, I have a family member that's like that actually. Like I will eat. I know there's some stuff you're really not supposed to eat like after super long time of being in the fridge, but I will eat like 10-day-old food from the fridge. Just stick it in the microwave and I'll just eat it. I have a family member that's like 3 days after something being in the fridge, hell, 2 days after something being in the fridge, they're like, this is garbage, you have to throw it away. And they just toss it. And I'm like, that's good food. Somebody could have eaten that. That could have been dinner or breakfast or lunch for somebody. Why did you throw it away? I don't understand it. Also, I do just hate wasting food. Like, there's been times, like, I throw away food when I absolutely have to, but there's been times where I know something that I have in the fridge is, like, on its very last day of being good, and, like, a responsible and reasonable person would throw it away and just figure out something else to eat, but it really hurts me to throw away food, so I just nuke it in the microwave. I'm like, anything that's wrong with this, any bacteria that's on it, anything that's harmful on it, just kill it in the microwave for 4 minutes and it should be okay. And I'm here. So clearly it works to some extent. So that's the only downside. Sometimes stuff will be in the fridge for a little too long, but that's less the fault of making a bunch of food, and it's more my fault because sometimes I feel like I get picky, which is the worst thing to do when you like pre-cook food, because you pre-cooked it, it's already there, it's already made, it's already in the fridge, you need to eat it or it's going to go bad. But sometimes I'm like, I don't really want this today. And so then I eat something else or I make something else, and the food that's already in the fridge that is currently ticking down the amount of time that it should be in there, it's still sitting in there while I've made something else, which I know I shouldn't do. And so that's more my fault for like occasionally being a picky eater. Or just not being a picky eater, but just like not craving something at that very exact moment, and not wanting to eat it even though I should. I have to go run some errand. Have a fun rest of your stream. Thank you for hanging out. Have a good time on your errand. I hope the rest of your day goes well, since it's like midway through the day for you. So I hope you have a good rest of your day and your errands go well. I don't plan to stream for an insane much time longer anyway. If this was mostly just to test my computer and see if it could run VTube Studio if I didn't have Steam open, and so if it had like less intensive, if it had less applications to worry about, and the CPU wasn't dealing with so much. I didn't know if I could open VTube Studio without opening Steam at first, so I was just testing everything and making sure everything worked, making sure my model worked correctly and that I could do all the things. Oh yeah, this still, I wasn't even like tabbed into it. Oh, it still works. Oh, it still works even if I'm not tabbed into VTube Studio. I didn't know that. I didn't know it would work while being tapped out of it. So that's cool too. I'm still learning more. Even 2 hours into my testing, I'm still learning more about like the model and the way it works. I'm just happy now I can switch between the what am I saying? Fugi. I can switch between Fugi and the model for just chatting, and Fugi for games. So that makes me happy. I can be a little bit more versatile. Yeah, just another step. I said it earlier, but I learn something new and I get something new done every single time I I go live. So it's just constant learning. I wish I would learn faster. I feel like knowing that I could use YouTube Studio without Steam earlier on would have been very helpful, even though I feel like I looked it up and my answer was no, or that it was possible but not possible for my computer, or maybe that's a lie. and I just read something that seemed totally like really difficult to do, and I gave up. Because the way that it works to open VTube Studio um, without Steam opening is I have to like locate a folder on my computer that apparently is like a hidden folder. Like, you can't just open your files and see this folder. It's hidden, so you have to like specifically type in the name of it into the search bar. You have to go to a specific, you have to open a specific prompt and type in the name of a specific folder in order to get this folder, and to go through then a chain of more folders in order to get VTube Studio to open without Steam. I don't know why it just didn't open without Steam as a default. I feel like the majority of people don't want to open Steam every single time they open VTube Studio, but I don't know. I don't know. Maybe it's just like a default. But anyway, now that I know how to do that, which I'm happy that I know how to do, I can use the model for just chatting, and it's very cute. So which one? It was angry, blushing. This one. Yeah, it's so cute. so I'm happy that I get to like see it move and like let other people see it move as well. And I think I might take a few more screenshots of it to use as alternate Fugis too, so I don't only have the one Fugi, which I love the Fugi that I have. It's no, it's not this one. Wait. No, this one. It's angry, blushing, evil, crying? Yeah, it's the crying one. I love the crying face. So it's the one that I use as the Fugi. But now I can do it as like angry, blushing, evil, crying. Now I can do like evil face Fugi, or like sparkly eyes Fugi, or I don't remember what this one is. Oh, this one is crying. There's this one that's just like turning it dark, which is cool because you can see like the light reflection on the cape, which is cute. And the eyes like stand out more. They don't stand out that much if I do the sparkle, which I'm kind of shocked about. Nope, the sorry, this was angry one. Oh, they don't change for the blush either. But you can see the glint on the cape, which is cute. I'm happy about it. Happy that everything runs smoothly. I'm happy that it's not lagging. I'm happy that it's not jittery. Oh, the only problem now is lighting. Lighting is a lot better at the house that I'm house sitting at, and so I don't know if when I go home the lighting will be as good, but I'll see what I can do to make it work. I'll try my best, and hey, if not, Fugi always exists, and I'm happy to have learned more about technology and gotten where I got today by experimenting and researching and trying different things out. So my next test that I do will be me testing to see if maybe I don't think this will work, if I'm being honest, but if the model works while playing a game, maybe. I don't think it will, because then I have to have a game application open and Steam open as well as VTube Studio, so it's 2 applications opening through Steam plus Steam itself. Oh, I don't think it'll work. I don't even think I should try it, to be honest. But baby steps. We learned things today, and I'm proud to say I made progress on this journey. And I'm at, I can't even read that. Hold on. Oh, it says 15. And I'm at 15 followers, even though I think that goal is off by like 1. I think it's actually 14. I think I started at 12 and I got 2, and I got 2. Oh my god. Also, I have to figure out, I have alerts, but they don't work. For whatever reason, they don't like go off. like I hear the alert sound, but the alert like image doesn't go off. And I don't know why that happens. Because uh because they are set up properly. I think I could go in and see what that's all about, but I have to remember how. That's something I kind of don't remember how to do, but I'll figure it out. I'll get there. I figured it out once to set them up, so I can figure it out again to make them work properly. And so, if there is anybody still here, thank you for hanging out with me. But I'm gonna end it here because I achieved my goal for today. And I learned things, and I'm 5, but actually 6 followers away from my goal. And VTube Studio works, so I can use it for just chatting. And oh, I wonder if the reason why VTube Studio isn't like so angry at my computer, or if my computer isn't so angry about having VTube Studio open, is because I put it on my second screen, and then I left my chat on my OBS on my main screen. I wonder if maybe that's why. I wonder if I could hold on. Oh, my alerts say that they're queued, but they don't. Huh. That's so weird. I wonder why that happened. Maybe I'll figure it out. I will figure it out. Maybe they're like linked incorrectly. I mean, I think that might be it. I hope to have them working for next time, because that's why I figured out the technology to set them up in the first place. But anyway, again, if there's anybody still here, thank you for hanging out with me. Achieved my goal, and I feel very accomplished. And we have a goal for next time. Figure out how to make alerts work. So, thank you. I will call it a day, and I will see you probably in less time than it took me to see you this time, because I don't have horrible school to deal with every single day, and I could focus on not academics and learn how to balance my time better. Anyways, so thank you for hanging out. Bye bye.